What's up, everybody? Maybe Friday afternoon. I realised that for the rest of this week, I've not streamed. I apologise for that. I quite like these. If you're wondering what there was, I have a little tub here where I collect my Gundam clipping nubs. You can probably hear it. Yes. If that ever gets knocked over, I am just leaving this room, and I'm leaving it completely. I'm not going to worry about ever coming back in this room because there's just too many nubs in there to worry about it. But yeah, it's been a week. It's a Friday afternoon, as I said. Well, for me, it's a late Friday afternoon. For me and my European viewers. For my American viewers, it is, what, lunchtime at the earliest? As we're still in that weird, really strange period between when North America changes its clocks and Europe changes its clocks. So ours is a week this Sunday, I believe. That's when our clocks change. But yeah, we're here. I'm here with a coffee again. I'm a little bit teed out today, but I have a coffee this afternoon. And I have some biscuits because it's a peckish afternoon. I've just finished work, my day job for the week. And it appears my lunch wasn't enough, so I have some biscuits. I'll probably go through a few of those throughout the stream. If you're here and you want to join in, go grab some biscuits. I have some malted milk, I believe they are. And a 4-pack. You can get 4-packs here really easily in the UK. These are varieties. So I've got malted milks, Nice, which are like a French coconut biscuit. Have nice stamped on them. It's actually pronounced Nice, but I used to call them nice biscuits when I was a kid. Some bourbon creams, which are those brown ones with the brown cream in the middle. And of course the best biscuit of all, custard creams. I'm saving those ones till last. You can't eat those ones first. You've got to save the best ones till last. So malted milks are the worst ones, so I'm grabbing those first. Then we're going to go Nice, then we're going to go bourbon, and then we're going to go custard creams. But that won't be tonight. That's a lot of biscuits to go through in one day. I mean, it's doable, don't get me wrong, and I have probably gone through a lot of biscuits. Chocolate biscuits, you mean like chocolate digestives? They're decent biscuits. I'm not going to deny they're decent biscuits, but in this 4-pack, this is what I had. The, what's it? McVitie's have a really nice, they have their VIBs, very important biscuits. Yeah, clever, I know. And they've got two, I think there's 2 flavours for it, and one's like a Jaffa orange. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jaffa cakes are big in the UK, but they're not flavoured like your typical orange that you'd get in a supermarket. It's actually a Jaffa orange being a bit more of a bitter tasting orange, but works really well with the sweetness of jelly, which is why they go well in Jaffa cakes. Actually, on the note of Jaffa cakes, if you've not tried passion fruit Jaffa cakes, try them. They are amazing. Holy balls. I didn't think like passion. I've tried all of the Jaffa cakes that come out. They're lemon lime ones, the summer fruits, the black currant, all of it. The strawberry. They used to have this really good winter fruits one years ago. We're talking like 25 years ago. But yeah, they've got a passion fruit one, and the passion fruit one, oh, it's so good. It's got just the right acidity to go in a Jaffa cake. What is this nonsense? It's 4:20, not 9 PM. Oh, it's 4:20. Just Blaze. No, this is my tea time with Dark. Tea time with Dark happens typically in the afternoon. Python, come on. Tea time. Tea time with Dark. But yeah, McVitie's have this VIBs. They're very important biscuits, and they've got 2 flavours. The Jaffa orange one, which is, I think it's okay. But they also have a cherry one. And that cherry one, oh, it's so good. You're having a cup of soup? That counts, I guess. If you can drink it, it's a thing. But no, the cherry VIBs are, oh, they're like, what are they? They're like, you know those caramel digestives you can get? Caramel chocolate digestives? It's like a digestive biscuit with caramel topped in chocolate. What they've done is they kind of do like a cherry caramel instead of just a plain caramel. And it is so good. I think they put some cherry flavouring in the chocolate too. But oh, I need to get another pack of those, but I can never find them. The only ones that are ever in stock at the moment are the Jaffa ones, and that's because they are the highly inferior version. You guys in chat can back me up. I know most of you who are British. And you can just sit there and go, oh yeah, these biscuits are great, these biscuits are bad. But if there's one thing us Brits love, it's biscuits. Tea and biscuits. That's what we need. And on that, hold on. Let me just get some ASMR up in this bitch. Come on, you biscuity bitch. Get out of your bag there. There we go. Malted milk. So I don't know how satisfying this snap is going to be. Very nice. Have to crunch that into the mic. A bit of ASMR for you guys. But yes. So, a couple updates for everybody. One. After my great tea debacle, which I didn't tweet about, but those of you who have me on Discord will know about, I have a new power splitter. And the office is rearranged ever so slightly so that the tea debacle doesn't happen again. So I spilt a cup of tea on Tuesday afternoon. I just finished work for the day, and I actually have had is the operative word. 3 pieces of tape on my desk, which is I know it was a crime. I was amazed the police didn't come to arrest me. I have 3 bits of tape on my desk, which is if I'm ever going to record or stream Gundam stuff, because I toyed with it a while back. I have 3 pieces of tape, which is where the 3 legs of the tripod would go, which hold the camera. And I was there tipping up my keyboard. I was actually doing the exact same movement, and my coffee is in the exact same place as where my tea was. So I'm not going to reenact this with my hands, because I almost had the same thing happen. But I lifted up my mat under my keyboard to try and find this 3rd sticker. I don't know where this 3rd sticker has gone, by the way. It is gone. And as I was lifting it, I knocked over my cup of tea. Cup of tea went all over my desk. All over the few figures and stuff that I've got on my desk, under one of the monitors, but you know that's what stands are for, and down the back of my desk there's a gap of about inch and a half between my desk and the wall. The tea went down the wall, down the back of the desk, dripped down, landed on the 8-way splitter that I've got, which was sitting on the floor. Luckily it did its job. I was able to shut down the computer and everything's fine. And it's a great job that they wallpapered this house so badly, which is this house we rent, where the sockets didn't get any tea in them. But I had to turn everything off. All of my 8-socket splitter had like a switch for each thing, and it does sound like me, doesn't it? I turned it all off. And all of the lights were off to say that they've been turned off, so I unplugged everything. There was tea underneath every plug, so I had to clean each of the plugs for like my monitors, for my fan, for my PC, for my PS4. Had to clean all of the tea off those. And then I noticed, because I didn't turn the multi-socket off on the wall, that one of the plug lights was flickering on. So I flicked it to off, or I flicked it to back to on, and it stayed on. I flicked it to off, and it stayed on, and I'm like, hey, that's not good. So I had to get rid of that multi-socket. That's gone. Well, I say it's gone. It's sitting on my floor on the other side of my office right now. But so for a small period of time, I didn't have a way of plugging in all of my computer setup. And I got past, but I had a spare 4 plug, which is what the 8 plug replaced. So I didn't have to worry too much about being able to, but I couldn't plug in my fan on my PS4. But my PC I could use, so that was good. But now I've learnt my computer is further forward than it was because some team managed to hit the screws on the back of the power supply. Nothing went in, luckily, so the PSU is fine. But I've moved my computer forward so that none of the back of it is close enough for me to spill tea on it again. I also now have a new 8-socket power splitter, which is vertical. It has a stand. So now instead of the splitter sitting on the floor and being able to fall victim to the tea, it is now standing vertically and is able to be pulled further away from where the tea would fall victim to it. So I've learnt from my mistakes. I want to get like a rubber thing that I can attach to the back of my desk so that it contains any liquid that I spill on my desk, and that won't have to be an issue anymore. But finding it's a pain in the ass. But that was the first thing. The second thing, as you can see here, we have a different background to usual. Usually we have the tea time with dark, and I'll just quickly pop that tea time text up. As you can see, we have the tea time text there. Well, that tea time text is retired. We now have this glorious teacup that we spent a bit of time with, and as you can see, it's in our new colours: the pink, the yellow, and the blue. Same sort of design philosophy as our as my logo, with the teacup, the main emphasis being on the D and the teacup and the stuff there. So you've got the design philosophy behind it. But not only, I did not steal your colours. Neon has been a thing for quite some time, Joe. If anything, you stole the 80s colours. Anyway, this teacup is not just a teacup for Tea Time with Dark. You can now use the Darker Tea emote in channel if you are a tier 1 subscriber. All of my emotes are now tier 1, as I said in one of my previous streams. So Darker Salt and Darker Nope are both tier 1. I believe Darker Nope was tier 2 previously, it's now tier 1. And Darker Tea is now an emote that tier 1 subs can use, where you get this lovely, glorious teacup. So, I am very happy with how this teacup came out. I really like it. I really like this teacup. The designer did a good job. I knew what I wanted. Gave a vague idea. And this teacup came about. I'll type it in chat so those of you can see it. I really like that teacup. Really like it. Took a little bit of work to get it. It is a pretty good teacup. I have to say it's quite possibly my favourite emote at the moment. Mostly because it's not my face. I was trying to figure out how I could make this sort of teacup a real thing. And to an extent you can. You have like a pink main tea, or main part of it, make it pink, have a yellow handle and a red, oh not a red, blue, not coaster. What is the bloody word? You know what I mean. But you could, yeah, you could use LED strips. I was thinking make an LED teacup, but that's a lot more money and effort than I'm willing to put in. But yeah, that's the main updates there. I really like that teacup. I know I keep saying it, but yeah, it's a really good teacup. So shout out to my designer for that. I feel it makes the place look a bit more professional, that teacup, you know? So if any of you do feel like throwing a tier 1 sub or a Twitch Prime sub this way, you will get access to this one along with the 2 others. But I think this one's my favourite just because it's not my face. At some point, did I just spill coffee in my keyboard? I'm not having a good week. Don't worry, it's fine. It's only a little bit. It's gone. At some point, I'm probably going to get the Dark Assault and Darker Nope emotes redesigned. I don't feel they fit the aesthetic of the... No, it's not Assault. I don't actually... Strangely, this may surprise you. I don't put anything other than milk in my tea or coffee now. I used to have like 2 sugars years ago in both of them. And Kit weaned me off them bit by bit until eventually she tricked me. And she was saying she was putting half a sugar in my tea. She hadn't been putting half a sugar in my tea for like 2 weeks. So I can't have sugar in my tea anymore or my coffee. So it does make me appreciate the flavours a bit more. And I can now drink black tea. Black coffee is still a little bit but I can drink black tea. But yeah, I would like to redesign my Darker Nope and Dark Assault emotes, or maybe retire them and replace them, because it doesn't feel like they fit the aesthetic, especially with me doing this sort of thing now. You have too much tea and coffee at work. I actually drink a lot less tea now working from home than I did working in the office, I have to say. So I know I changed roles, what, end of 2020 I changed work roles. Still be in the same office and still be in the same floor if we were still in the office, but yeah, I used to drink probably what, 5 or 6 teas a day. Oh, some Assam tea, very nice. Yeah, I used to drink 5 or 6 teas a day. That's not including the tea teas I'd be drinking at home in the morning or whatever. And that's because it was just free, and you'd drink your tea and you'd go, anybody want a tea? And you'd go up and you'd get away from your computer for a bit and go to the kitchenette and make a tea. And that's one of the bonuses of working for a big corporation, where they have the money to throw around at that sort of thing. But since working from home, when I'm home alone, when the other half hasn't got some time off, I'll probably have my morning tea with her at breakfast, and then maybe a tea or a coffee at lunchtime, and that's probably it. Or maybe now, where I'm doing this, I'll have another tea or coffee in the afternoon as well. But 6 teas, is this why you're so salty in the evening? What, because I'm not drinking tea? I'm just a salty person. I will drink a, depending on what time it is we finish dinner. If we have dinner and we finish it at like 8, and then finish the dishes and stuff before, like, by 7:30, we'll probably both have a chamomile tea, and that'll chill me out for the evening. But if we finish a bit earlier, I'll probably have a peppermint tea and then a chamomile tea in the evening, just because neither of them have any caffeine in them. Kit was given all of these loose teas as well a while back, and it's not the sort of teas that she drinks, so I've been meaning to drink them and I never get around to it. I think one's like a ginger... It says it's a ginger tea. It's really got no tea in it at all. A lot of the flavoured, or, you know, like apple tea or fruit tea or ginger tea and all of that, it doesn't really actually have any tea in it. It's just a... Like, this one is... I think it's like crystallized ginger and some other stuff with it. So when you have a cupboard dedicated to teas. We've got a lot of tea Kilner jars. We've got a lot of Kilner jars that sit next to our kettle. So we have one dedicated to... Actually, no, we've only got 2 Kilner jars and a Kilner jar of sugar. But we have, you know, those, like, I think they're 6 drawer MDF thing you can get from IKEA. Kit a while back grabbed one not long after we moved into this house, and then she went and repainted it so that each drawer has its own like tea on it. And so we've got a kilner with green tea and a kilner with black tea, or Indian tea, or whatever you want to call it. But we've also got a drawer full of fruity teas. So the drawer has like summer fruits and I think blueberry tea in there, which is pretty good. Then we've got one dedicated to peppermint tea, one dedicated to chamomile tea, one dedicated to like medicinal teas. So if we were to have things like a ginger tea or something like that, then there's medicine in one of them. And then we've got one drawer entirely dedicated to all of our different tea strainers. We even have a mana tea, and I couldn't resist picking that up just because of the whole, well, it's a mana tea, but it's a tea strainer too, so it's a mana tea. I love puns, if you couldn't tell. At least you don't add tablespoons of sugar to your tea. Yeah, Animal doing that did, I think every Brit in the chat at that point, all two of us, were sitting there going, I don't know. That's probably a fair amount of, was it like 4 tablespoons of sugar? And you're there like, 4 teaspoons of sugar is probably a bit much. 4 tablespoons of sugar is, like, I was kicking myself a few days ago when I was trying to mix, like, I do like my own spice mixes when I'm cooking things, and I do like doing like a chicken thigh stew with like a Ras Al Hanout spice mixture, and I've got a recipe that I make myself for the spice mix. But at one point I mixed up the teaspoon measure and dessert spoon measure, because they're quite similar. They're surprisingly similar sizes when they're in like these aluminium measure things. That amount of sugar in any tea makes me say, yeah, that's a lot of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. But yeah, I mixed up the teaspoon and the dessert spoon measure, and they're both smaller than a tablespoon, so that's fine. But I accidentally put in a dessert spoon of black peppercorn instead of a teaspoon of black peppercorn. It tasted fine in the end because it had so many other spices in there balancing it out. But to make that mistake, I was distraught. I was like, no, I've ruined the flavour. But it was fine. It just had a slight bit more burn than usual. But for that difference in sugar, that's definitely a noticeable difference in sugar. I think the stream would be more interesting if you and Python would join me in chat, perhaps. Maybe. I think I quite like the format at the moment of just talking to you guys. Made a beef Wellington last night that you're going to cook today. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I don't get to eat a lot of red meat. The other half is, she would be veggie if she could, but her condition makes it so she can't really. She can't get the protein and stuff she needs in her diet because she can't eat nuts and stuff. So we eat fish and chicken as a compromise. She has been eating pork actually as well, but red meat is still a no-no. So I don't get to eat steak, which means no real beef Wellington or anything like that for me. No steak. I would like to. When I go out with friends, I will eat an actual steak, like a full-blown. Oh, when you go out, and you're like, oh, you go to a smoke. Like we went to a smokehouse, and I was in heaven because I was able to have so much smoked meat, like a brisket and stuff like that, and it was heaven. So I think we'll be going out for a work-do dinner at some point. I've never gone out for a work dinner with these guys, just because lockdowns and everything. And we were gonna go to like a kind of fancy-ish restaurant in the city centre in December. I think it was the 14th of December we were going to be going. And we had to cancel it because that was when another change was happening to the status here in the UK, unfortunately. But we're now staring down April, and we've been meaning to be going to do the work Christmas do in April. But I don't know whether we're going to be doing that. But I'm looking forward to being able to just have some like steak or something, or some actual red meat. Oh, it'll be heaven. I need it so badly. Don't get me wrong, crustacean, like prawns and, you know, salmon and sea bass and all of that is all well and good, and cod, and it's all well and good, but sometimes you just need like a hunk of meat on a plate with some chips. You get bored of seafood. Seafood's so varied, though. Seafood is really varied. I like, if I couldn't eat meat or chicken or anything, I think seafood would be fine, because there's such a variety of different seafood you can do. Because each fish is quite... Oh yeah, like the same thing all the time is why it gets boring. So we get prawns fairly regularly, and sometimes we'll do like a prawn fried rice. Shocking for two seaside guys like seafood. You'd almost think we come from coastal regions in the UK. So Python, you're from Devon, aren't you? And I'm from Cornwall. I come from a little known area known as Penzance, which is a pretty big touristy area in Cornwall. So we've got some great chippies down there. And we've actually got a pretty good chippy here in Nottingham, just around the corner from where I live, which is actually surprising. So I like, everyone I know up here uses me as like a fish and chip shop barometer, where they go, "What's the fish like?" And I go, "Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Nothing like the top chippies back home, but pretty good. I'll take it." Everything Mum cooks in terms of fish is deep fried to an inch of its life or boiled to an inch of its life. Yeah. So you come from a small fishing town. Like, I used to go to Newlyn every now and then and take a look at their fish market at 6 in the morning. So yeah, you know what fresh fish tastes like. But yeah, if you have some really well cooked, as in cooked properly, fish or seafood, you've got some great variety. So yeah, we do a prawn fried rice. Yeah, just steaming some fish for like less than 5 minutes. You can get some really... Like, we invested in a steamer and it changed our life. I mean, if we're having soft... Like, if we're having a mashed potato and some carrots and broccoli and stuff like that, we'll probably fry the fish off. But if we've got something there that's got some crunch to it, we'll probably steam the fish, and that works really well. But yeah, you can fry fish, steam fish, you can poach fish. So you bake fish. You've got a lot you can do with them. Something that I've not done in a while is kedgeree. And kedgeree is really simple, but it's actually really good. So it's essentially rice. How does this go? So you essentially poach fish. You poach some cod or haddock in some cream, and then you use that cream to cook the rice, which is like infused with turmeric, and then at the end you add the fish in, and you serve it with some like egg on, like some boiled eggs on top, and away you go. It's pretty good. It's quite straightforward, quite simple. Bit of turmeric, bit of cardamom in with the rice, and it's quite a nice dinner. Oh yeah, that's over steaming the fish if it turns to mush. Yeah, I'd say like, actually, yeah. Here's one of my philosophies. If you're gonna complain about someone's cooking, and you're not gonna step up and do anything, you can't complain. The alternative is you suck it up and you eat it and you don't complain, or you stand up and do it. And I can't cook isn't an excuse. You can learn to cook. Everyone can cook. Everyone can cook. But yeah, we tend to do like for prawns, for example. If you want a spread, if you want a selection of things, yeah, YouTube's a great source for cooking. Generally speaking, if I'm trying to do something new with an ingredient, I've bought an ingredient. Like, I didn't know how to cook duck breast, and now I do some pretty good duck breast, but I don't do it very often because it's expensive. Yeah, it's really straightforward now. But yeah, I'll tend to Google anything and then make my own recipe up with a few ideas, and generally speaking it turns out quite good. So, but yeah, with prawns, like just using prawns as an example, you can do so much of it. Like some examples I do for tonight for dinner, we're going to be using some prawns, and I am going, it's basically like a garlicky creamy pasta with prawns. So it's going to have some mushrooms, some red pepper. So what you want to do is just throw some spaghetti on. It's probably 75 grams per person. So for me and Kit, it's 150 grams of spaghetti. Chuck that in some salted water. Again, you want it to be like seawater, so as salty as the sea. And you'll cook that for about 8 minutes. Or until the pasta is cooked. And you'll know when the spaghetti is cooked. You should know when spaghetti is cooked by now. And then while that's boiling, chuck in some, probably 4 cloves of garlic. Crushed. Because I have to remove the garlic because Kit can't eat it, but we can use it for flavour. Throw in some garlic. Throw in some onion, or in my case, onion powder, because Kit can't eat onion. This is my life. Some diced up red pepper, some sliced up mushroom. Saute all of that off. Throw in your prawns. Throw in some oregano and some parsley. Fresh, ideally. If you can't, dried herbs are fine. And then once you've got the oil coating the prawns and all of the veggies and the herbs are nicely spread out, that should probably be about 4 minutes in. Then you want to chuck in your cream. Lower the heat, let that cream simmer. You want the consistency to become thicker than cream, ideally. Then once your pasta is done, 4 minutes later, which is how long it should take for that cream to reduce down a little bit, don't remove the water, just remove the pasta from the water using like the slotted spoon or whatever. Chuck that in with the cream, give it a mix. If you need a little bit more liquid, use the water from the pasta a little bit at a time, and then you'll have a really good consistency sauce, and then just serve that up and away you go. Really quick, delicious. Oregano works really well as a cooking herb. I think I use oregano a lot more than Kit does, and when she cooks she tends to use more marjoram than anything. Marjoram and coriander are her jam, whereas oregano is mine. Quite like oregano. Or oregano for the Americans. Celery salt is really good instead of basic salt. Oh really? I'll have to take a look at that, see if I can grab some. I tell you one thing, the grind. I would typically talk about games and shit, but I've been going for half an hour talking about food, and I can do this all day. I love talking about food. Yeah, we have these like grinders you can get at Tesco. The Tesco own brand ones are okay, but there's another more expensive brand. I think they're like £3 a pop for each grinder. But one is like a garlic salt sort of grinder, which has some like peppers and a little bit of chili in there, but not much. And the other one you can get is like a chili grinder. And both of those are so easy. Like if you don't want to use any other seasoning, you don't want to use salt, you don't want to use pepper, you don't want to use actual garlic, that chili, the garlic grinder is so good for it. If you want another thing with prawns, going back to my prawn thing, so you've got the prawn pasta thing that I'm going to be doing for dinner tonight, which is really quick. Alternatively, you can do like a prawn fried rice with some egg or beaten up omelette in there as well. And again, pretty much the same veggies. I do it using some carrots, some red pepper, and some mushroom, all diced up fine. Pre-cook some rice. Let the rice cool down. Fry off. For 2 people, I do 4 eggs. So you'll basically make an omelette with the 4 eggs and break it down. Put that to one side, throwing a bit more of your oil into the pan. Chuck in some carrot, because carrot takes a little bit longer to cook than the others. Then once that's softened a bit, throw in your pepper and your mushroom. Let that cook down. I throw in a little bit of mirin when that's done, just before I throw the rice in. let the mirin coat the vegetables, but don't let too much mirin sit. So you basically want to coat the veggies and put them to the side when they're done. Then there should be no liquid left in there. Throw your rice in. Let that rice then mix in with the veggies and get some color to it. Then near the end, throw in your prawns, or chicken. I like putting cooked chicken in there actually. Raw chicken, no, cooked chicken. Pre-cooked chicken goes well in this. Chuck that in. Throw in some spring onions. Take the heat off. Throw your eggs back in. Spin it all around, and away you go. Oh yeah, coriander. Yeah, you've got to be careful with coriander. Mum once drowned a nice Chinese soup by dumping an entire bush of coriander into it. I wept in sadness to have a soup was ruined. Yeah, there was one time, probably a year or two ago now, Kit cooked and she mistakenly put too much coriander in. And if you put too much coriander in, you cannot save it. There is nothing you can do to save it once you've put too much coriander in. And my palate is very sensitive to salt. And it's very sensitive to certain flavours. And I couldn't eat the food. Unfortunately, she spent a load of time cooking it. I felt really bad, but I just couldn't palate it. And no matter what I did, like salt counters coriander to an extent, and it just couldn't counter this level of coriander. Put too much in, and people can't eat it. It's crazy. Unfortunately, but you don't really like prawn fried rice. You've been turned off prawns. That's a shame. Prawns are pretty good. Prawns are varied. We do like we do a good prawn satay as well. Prawn satay stir fry. Prawns also go well in a sweet and sour. I'm of the opinion that sweet and sour should always be served with rice, but I know some people disagree with that. I do think sweet and sour should be served with rice over noodles, but that's me. Grab some smoked salt and use it on chips. I'll have to take a look at that. Actually, I wonder. We've been doing Ocado shops lately. Let me just go on to Tesco. Do I have to go to a specialist shop for some smoked salt? If I have to go to a specialist shop, I will, but if I can get a hold of it normally, that'd be great, but if I have to go to a specialist shop for these, I may have to. Not these days. Damn! Actually, think about it. Sainsbury's may have it in their specialist or world food section. So I may try. We have a huge ass Sainsbury's down the road, and their world food section is really good compared to Tesco. They have this. So occasionally we'll get like pepperonis to have if we want to go out for a walk or whatever. We have Waitrose in the city centre, but we don't have a Waitrose in the part of the city I live in. Oh, they do have it at Sainsbury's. Sweet. I'll take a look at Sainsbury's. I may drive to Sainsbury's tomorrow morning, then take a look, see what's there. But what was I saying? Yeah, so Sainsbury's have. So we used to get pepperonis, just when we're going out for a walk, or we're just gonna have a snack on the way or something. But we discovered that the world food section in the refrigerated part of Sainsbury's, they have a Hungarian preserved sausage, which, oh my god, I cannot go back to pepperoni. I cannot go back to pepperoni. Like, this sausage, it is a preserved sausage. It's sort of got like I think it's smoked and salted with a paprika seasoning. Oh, have you tried it, Python? Yeah, this Hungarian sausage, it comes in like 4 in a pack, and it's like, I think it's like £1.80 for 4, for a pack of 4, and holy shit! I bought it on a whim. I thought that looks interesting, so I bought it, and oh, it is such a difference. Oh, I can't go back to pepperoni. It's like a smoked, salty, paprika-y preserved sausage. Yeah, I don't know what, like, say what you want about Hungary, but holy shit. Like, oh, I know us and the Germans, like, we do some great sausages. A good Lincolnshire sausage or a Cumberland sausage. I mean, a standard pork sausage are good, but a Cumberland and a Lincolnshire sausage, both amazing. But some of my favourite sausages are from continental Europe. Like, German Germany makes some crazy good sausages. Bratwurst, oh, good bratwurst. Like Nottingham has it's a spicing. I don't know what it is in the spicing with Cumberland sausages, but they do it well. But Nottingham City Centre has like a Christmas market, and in that Christmas market they've got a German sausage stall with a huge ass like cooking pit, and over this, I mean, it's obviously a self-contained thing, and over it they have this massive grill. Like, we're talking, this grill is probably 5 or 6 foot in diameter, and on it they cook like 3 or 4 different types of German sausage. So you've got like bratwurst, bockwurst, Krakauer, and all of these sausages are on there. And oh, fucking heaven, my guys, heaven. You go there, you have a Krakauer, you chuck it in a bread roll, and away you go. Have some. Yeah, you have the same sort of in the Manchester German market. Yeah, so good. I don't know what it is the Germans do with their sausages, but they're all really good. And then this Hungarian preserved sausage. Oh, I mean, you can say it again. Like, you've got the Spaniards, Spain, do some great preserved meats. Like, chorizo is really good. And then the Italians do their salami and pepperoni, and yeah, they like for preserved sausages that continental Europe does. Preserved meats are so good, but the sausages, the general sausages that us and the Germans do, on another level. It's ridiculous. Actually, I don't know if you guys know this guy on YouTube. He's called Joshua Weissman. He used to work in like, I think it was in a Michelin-starred restaurant. He used to work there, but he has a YouTube channel now of demystifying cooking that sort of food. And he did a British fry-up breakfast versus an American breakfast. So the American breakfast had like their kind of crappy bacon. Watch them all, same with Babish. I haven't watched any binging with Babish, but I know the channel. But yeah, he did a great video where he was doing a comparison between British fry-ups and an American breakfast. So the American breakfast was American bacon, which I hate. I hate American bacon. Scrambled eggs, an American hash brown, which again was not a hash brown, but that's by British standards. And then the whole American pancakes. American pancakes are really good. And then the British one was, of course, sausage, bacon, tomato, mushrooms, eggs, fried eggs, of course, some toast, and I was appalled that he didn't have our hash browns on there, but what can you do? But then they had to trying it at the end. Their sausage as well. Their sausage was like some fancy smoked sausage. It wasn't the sort of sausage you'd get here in the UK, but it looked bloody delicious, I have to say. Even with a different sausage, it was delicious. It looked delicious. And they tasted it at the end, and they were like, there's just something about it, about the British breakfast, where you can have the sausage with the beans, or maybe the sausage with the egg, or the bacon with the beans and the tomato. You know, you have all of these things together, and it's just good. Because it seems weird that you have like a sweet pancake combined with bacon and eggs. You know, it's a pretty weird thing. But I really wish that Kit would be fine with going to a restaurant, because we used to go to a restaurant in the area of Nottingham we live in, and they used to have like a really nice brunch. So she'd have like their gluten-free, dairy-free, what's it called? It was basically smoked salmon, poached egg on top of an English muffin, a gluten-free, a dairy-free English muffin. And I would have a similar thing, but occasionally I would have their fry-up, because their fry-up was so good. So good. It wasn't an Eggs Benedict. Because an Eggs Benedict, yeah, so I would have had the Eggs Benedict. Because that's a muffin, ham and eggs with a hollandaise sauce? Was it a béarnaise sauce? Hollandaise sauce. But there's another one that it's basically the same thing. Hollandaise is so good. Yeah, hollandaise is the one. Yeah, béarnaise is the one which hollandaise is based off, because they're like the five sauces, I believe it is. But you need to get Admiral to experience a proper English breakfast. I think an actual English breakfast, an English fry-up, would blow his mind. I actually think it would blow his mind. Sausage, baked beans, scrambled eggs, hash browns, if bacon, yeah, rubbery bacon. I don't think bacon should be too crispy either. So you know when you get bacon, the mother sauces, that's the one, yeah. You know when you get bacon and it's gold all the way around? And you go, okay, it's gold all the way around, but it snaps. I don't like that. I like it. I like to have the bacon when you get to the point where it's going a bit golden in places, but you still got the pinkiness, the pink colour. It's not gone like a burn or a gold colour all the way through. Soft but firm. Yeah, soft but firm is yeah, I think we all agree. So when your bacon snaps, I feel your bacon's overcooked. You've just got to have that bit of give. It's not raw, it's cooked. It's got the right consistency and the right shape to it, but it's got like crispy edges. I mean, this is back bacon as well, so back bacon is very different to American bacon, but yeah. Dry bacon is pretty bad. It's still got to have some juice to it. Yeah, I know what you mean. Can you tell I'm hungry? We have been speaking for 3/4 of an hour about food. I've eaten one biscuit and I've not even finished drinking my coffee, which is now cold. You're not eating for another 3 hours. I've probably got an hour and a half before we eat, just because the dinner tonight is really quick, so I can bash it together in like 15 minutes. So I tell you now, I've actually got really good at chopping up. Even like we sharpen our knives once a week as best we can, and I've got some actual chef's knives that I use occasionally as well. But I've got pretty good at chopping vegetables up, and it's partly because like we watched all 10 seasons, I believe, of Australian MasterChef that were on Prime. And I was learning things from watching them, and I was watching their techniques and stuff, and I was trying to use those in my general cooking in the kitchen. So I got pretty good at chopping, I must say. I think I've got quite good at it. A sharp knife helps so much. Oh, back when I was just after I graduated university, and when I was looking for work, I moved in with 3 other friends, and one of them is a really good cook. Well, no, let's say 3 of us are really good cooks. One of us wasn't, and we'll ignore him. 2 of us knew the importance. Yeah, Australian MasterChef's on Prime. It's great. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, it's really good. Australian MasterChef, give it a shot. So good. Yeah, you've lost so much of your time, because each season is like 60 episodes long. There's like 600 episodes of Australian MasterChef on Prime. It's so good. But yeah, so 3 of us were relatively decent at cooking, 1 wasn't, but we all cooked for ourselves. So 2 of us knew the importance of a sharp knife. 1 of us was like, oh no, I don't like sharp knives, because like I'm more likely to cut myself with a sharp knife. And we're like, no, with a sharp knife you have much more control, because you won't have to put any pressure on it, and it'll just glide through what you're trying to cut. And he was like, no, watch this. And then he took out his lotus fruit, which he was cooking for dinner, took out his relatively blunt knife, got a couple slices in, slipped, and cut his thumb. And we're like, well, just because it's blunt doesn't mean it's not going to cut you. And so within within 20 seconds of him making his point, he disproved his point by cutting himself with a blunt knife by screwing up his cut. So, yeah. Says a lot. Says a lot. You want to use a sharp knife. And I think we've now lost Python. It's worse with a blunt knife because it's not a clean cut. Yes. Yes. That is correct. That's very true. While you think that your knife may be sharp because it's cutting through things, if you're having to apply a lot of force to cut whatever you're cutting, onions especially, if you're trying to cut an onion and you're using a relatively blunt knife, it won't really go through very easily. Same with meat, cooked or otherwise. But if your knife is sharp, it will cut through really easily, which means you have to apply less force, which means that when you slip, you are less likely to cut yourself seriously than you are with a blunt knife. You only do it once, and then you learn. But the actual chef knives, Kit got me them a few years back now as a Christmas present. And I use I think it's a Sam Cone knife. It's got a very curved top to it, but a slight curve to the blade, but not much. It's not a proper chef's knife. That's in there as well, and there's a paring knife in there too. But I use the Sam Cone knife more than anything else. And when I first used that, I didn't appreciate how sharp these knives were compared to your typical supermarket bought knife block. So I was talking to Kit and I wasn't paying full attention, and I just tapped. I didn't slice, I tapped the my thumb knuckle, my left hand thumb knuckle. If you put your food press, if you put your hand in a food press, so you deserve what happens. Yeah. But I just tapped the knuckle of my thumb with the knife. I didn't slide. I did no. It's a Sam Cone knife. It does kind of look like a Santoku knife. You are right. I have to look again. I'm pretty sure it's called a Sankone knife or something. I know it's not called a Santoku knife, but it does look like a Santoku knife, yes. Just a different name. I think this is a Chinese set or something, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, I just tapped my thumb, and I didn't really feel it. I felt like something caress my thumb, and I thought nothing of it. And then I looked down, and there's a little line, a very clean line on my thumb. I'm like, what? And just my tapping of the knife to my thumb, I managed to cut it a little bit. It wasn't a serious cut because I didn't put any force into it. See what I mean? It's a very sharp knife, but I didn't cut my thumb off because I didn't put any force into it. But a little cut on my thumb. And I appreciated how sharp that knife was. I've taken a couple digs out of my fingernails by accident with that knife as well. But luckily the fingernail has protected my finger itself. I'm advocating a perfect murder weapon. You do find it weird when you see that you cut yourself and no blood comes out. You mean when you... So, you get that little red line, don't you? You cut yourself and you're like, oh, well, I've cut myself, obviously, but I'm not really bleeding. Because it's such a clean cut, my body has already started to knit the wound together. Or the blood is already congealed because I've not seriously damaged my skin. I've just nicked it. And your skin is designed to heal fairly quickly from that. 'Tis but a scratch. Your arm's off. No, it isn't. But yeah, if you've never used a proper chef's knife, it is admittedly quite scary when you think about it originally because you know how sharp those knives are. But once you've used them and you can appreciate the sharpness of the blade and you've cut yourself once with it, I think you have a much greater appreciation for using an actual proper sharp knife as opposed to a relatively crap unsharpened knife. That does remind me, I think I need to get my chef knives sharpened at some point. I need to find a place nearby that I'll do knife sharpening. Professionally sharpened. I don't trust myself to sharpen it. Using the right tool for the job. But it's true. It is true. Actually, something that we got a little while back was we got a stick blender, and it changed our lives because it's got a Purea masher attachment. So now when we're doing mashed potatoes, we don't use a standard hand masher. We use this Purea, or this masher, and it gives us such soft and fluffy mashed potato. It's so good. But it's also got like it's got your soup blending attachment. It's got a general mixing attachment. But we've also got a food processor bottom to it. So like it's got like a central column that has the lid, and the lid goes into the stick blender. You turn it on and it rotates the blade at the bottom. And I've been using that to make some glorious. So I'm probably tooting my own trumpet here, but I make a mean bolognese. And because Kit can't have red meat, I do a turkey bolognese, and she doesn't like mince, so I dice up the turkey quite small. But a tin of tomatoes, a roughly chopped up red pepper, or I tend to use green pepper just because we don't like eating green pepper with anything else. So it has the right kind of flavour to balance everything out. 4 cloves of garlic, tin of plum tomatoes, peeled plum tomatoes, roughly chopped red pepper. I also chuck in 1 or 2 red chilies based on size into that, and then just blend it. It's so easy. You just chop things up randomly, chuck them in the blender, turn it on, and blend it down. Not quite to like a liquid, but quite close. So there's still like it's kind of grainy, but it's everything blended together, and that has made my bolognese so much better. It's so good, so good. Throw in a sun-dried tomato and I'll give another dimension. I have been doing so we do a roast chicken every couple weeks, but because it's only 2 of us, we'll do the roast chicken, and then we'll have some thigh and leg meat left over and some breast meat left over. So the thigh meat we'll either chuck into, say, a curry, or we'll put it in a chicken fried rice. It works really well in chicken fried rice. Oh, I wolf that down. It's so delicious. My chicken fried rice is so good. But what we will do as well is I've got chorizo in the fridge all the time. So I'll take half of a chorizo, peel the chorizo, chop that up into like little slices, and we'll take actual plum tomatoes and we'll chuck them in the oven on gas mark 7 for about 40 minutes. So take the sun-dried, plum tomatoes, chuck them in a roasting tray, cover them in oil, cover them in oregano, basil, and parsley, bit of salt, bit of pepper, mix it around, chuck them in the oven. 40 minutes later, you've got some roasted, where the skin has split and is coming off the plum tomatoes. You can chuck that. So once that's done, take that out of the oven, chuck that into a pan. I use it's like an aluminium pan. It's like an aluminium pan we've got, aluminium pot with a stone coating inside. Chuck all that stuff in, oil and everything, scrape out all out, chuck it all in. Herbs, oil, tomato, chuck it all in. Then take the sliced chorizo, turn the heat up to like probably about 3/4. Get that all going. Chuck in the chorizo, chuck in some diced pepper, chuck in some mushroom, chuck in a little bit of garlic. You won't need anything else because the chorizo is quite flavoured in the way the stuff it has inside the chorizo. Chuck that in. Let that all mix around and reduce. Chuck in a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Once that balsamic's reduced a bit more, chuck on some. I use penne because penne makes a great sauce. Works well with this sauce. Chuck some penne on. Again, 150 grams because you've got stuff there. Now, put that on for like 8 minutes again. Once the sauce is reduced a bit, take your pre-cooked chicken breasts, slice it up into slices a little bit bigger than the chorizo, chuck that in, coat that round. Now your sauce should have reduced a fair amount by this point. Chuck in a little bit of water, probably 200 ml, and then chuck the lid on. Let that reduce down while the pasta's cooking, giving it a stir every now and then. And then once the pasta's cooked, chuck the pasta. You don't need the water for this one. Chuck the pasta in the sauce, coat it all around, and then you've got a really great dinner. What you can do is, if you find that the sauce is a bit too strong, chuck some cream in with that sauce as well. Makes a really rich and creamy sauce. But you don't need to. You can have it just like it is. And the tomatoes, once it's cooking, should break down and disintegrate into the sauce, and it makes a really good sauce. So it's a really good chicken chorizo pasta that I make using cooked, pre-cooked chicken breast. It's really good, delicious. You can tell I use a lot of red pepper and tomatoes in my cooking. Load of mushrooms too, but really good. You can even forego the chicken. Just use chorizo. A good chorizo pasta. We had a so we're trying to get some more food into Kit's diet. So we had a courgette this week. So I roasted off some. I did a similar sort of dish, but I did it a bit quicker. So I roasted courgette and tomato. Got those roasted down. It was diced up courgette with whole mini plum tomatoes. Fried off cooked the pasta. Again, same pasta as usual. Cooked off the chorizo. Threw in the roasted tomato and courgette. So it was roasted a little bit less, so that it still held its shape and there's a little bit of give. And then chucked in the cooked penne at the end of that. And that worked really well. So it was more of it wasn't a sauce, it was more of like a herby, courgette, tomatoey coating to the pasta. And that worked really well. You don't need a heavy sauce. Sometimes it's good to have like whole veggies in there, or chunks of veggies in the pasta. So I think I have a thing for, I really like when it comes to cooking, I think I really like cooking Italian and I really like cooking Chinese. I think they're both very good. They fit my sort of cooking really well. I kind of like Japanese cooking. I like Japanese food, but I find cooking it a bit more of a pain in the ass. But Chinese and Italian cooking, oh, so good. But as much as you've never had sushi, I think some people are justified in their not liking sushi, but it's something you should probably try. I know that when we went to Japan a few years back, we went to an actual sushi place. Like an actual... Oh, Korean food is good, yes. Korean barbecue and stuff like that. The bibimbap is really good. Do like a bibimbap served in a stone bowl. But we went to an actual sushi restaurant where you could watch the person. So you have like a sheet. You say, I want this, 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 and you give it to him. And he'll be there and he'll shape the rice and he will prepare the fish, slice the fish actually off the piece that he's got there, and he'll serve up the sushi and he'll make sure that it's all good and then he'll serve you the sushi. That was great. But I noticed they had some whale on the menu, and you can call me what you want for having eaten whale, but it's not like I went out and asked for the whale to be killed. The whale was already dead. And if no one ate it, the whale meat would have gone to waste and no one would have eaten whale. But I tried a bit of whale, and it's not bad. I don't really get the whole fascination of whaling for its meat, because it's like a consistency of a burger, consistency of like a mincemeat burger with a slightly oily fish taste to it. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, it's quite nice, but it's not something I would go out of my way to have again, especially with the other sushi options that were there. So, but yeah, I'd give it a shot. In the UK, it's a bit more of a crapshoot. you'd have to research good sushi places. Yo Sushi is okay, but actual like good sushi places are very hard to find. Once at a traditional Korean food restaurant when you were in Hong Kong. Interesting. I did find it strange, but here in Nottingham, the Japanese restaurants are run by Chinese people. The Korean restaurants are run by Koreans, which is interesting. We do have a Japanese restaurant just around the corner from where we live, actually, which is owned and run by an actual Japanese lady, and she's really nice. Really nice lady. You won't judge me for trying something on your menu. Thank you. It was there. I had the opportunity. I'd been thinking of trying it, and I just thought I'd try it. Yeah. I had the opportunity to try it. I took my chance. And I can tell you guys whether it's worth trying or not. So. But yeah, the Korean restaurants here in Nottingham are run by Koreans. The Chinese restaurants are run by Thai, which is really strange. One Japanese place is run by some Japanese guys. But there used to be a really good Thai place in the city too, which unfortunately closed down during lockdown. Really unfortunate. Really good Thai food. Really good Thai food. Well, yeah, but you live in London, Joe. Joe's a very different place. London's a very different place than Nottingham. The Midlands are very different to London. But yeah, I have realised I've been speaking now for over an hour about food. More than anything else. But I do appreciate you guys coming in and tuning in for another Tea Time with Dark. Weekend Rising. Prepping for the upcoming weekend. You'll probably see a stream tomorrow night on Saturday. Food is interesting. Food is a really interesting topic. Normally you're napping at this time. I don't blame you. But yeah, food is a really interesting topic. I had a while back debated about whether I should do like a cooking channel, like a food channel. Because I do like cooking. It's just, with the way life is, it's very difficult to find time to, you know, to cook, to properly do something fancy. And when I do get the opportunity, I do enjoy it. Kit not so much, because she's the one doing the dishes. But again, we don't have a set topic for these rambles. It's just a talk show. As it says in the topic there, talk shows and podcasts. We don't talk about any one thing. We'll move back and forth as need be. It's a conversation between me and chat. You and I. We get to have a chat. We get to talk about things. You get to find out what's on my mind, and I get to find your opinion. Yeah, you need to get into cooking, Joe. I agree with Python. Like, cooking is a great release. I do find that some days when I've been feeling I've had a crap day, I do find that getting in the kitchen and even dealing with the frustration of a poorly laid out kitchen, I do find that getting in the kitchen does kind of help out. Joe, if you ever do want, like, what I can do is I can set up my phone to stream on Discord, possibly using the camera. At some point I may just do a quick cooking thing and see how you guys like it. If I can get a good setup, I need to get a laptop at some point. If I can get a good setup downstairs, I may do a cooking stream at some point. Do some dinner time cooking, do some cooking, like baking or something. See what happens. But yeah. Well, I'm glad to see that you guys enjoyed this. If you're watching this on YouTube, do go check out my Twitch channel, which is why I'm streaming this at this point in time. Do go check it out. It's twitch.tv/darkguy3, as you can see my name. It will be linked in the description box of this YouTube video as well. But yeah, go check it out. You can check out me live. It's not just this sort of content I do play games as well. And if you want to see clips of that, you can go check out my clips channel, Darkguy3 Clips, which is also in the YouTube description box down below. We do have some various things going up there. There's nothing on there at the moment, but that will be rectified soon. I do have some clips ready to go up. So we'll be chucking those up. I'm still tossing up whether to do those on like a daily basis or a multiple per day basis, but we'll see how it goes. With all very short form content, they're all about 30 seconds to 2 minutes long. And it's just cuts from the stream, which I thought were quite entertaining, and I thought they'd be good on their own. But go check that out as well. Those of you who are tuning in here on Twitch, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Do click that follow button down below. Always nice to have all of you guys tuning in. If you would like access to the emotes, we don't currently have any follower emotes. I have got some in the pipeline that I want to get done. But we do currently have 3 emotes, Dark Assault, Darker Nope and Darker Tea, which are available for tier 1 subscribers. And frankly, I feel awkward if you do anything more than a tier 1 subscription because I don't have anything to offer you for tier 2 and tier 3. But following, subscription, it's all appreciated. I do appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're here and you want to see my content, you can check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/DarkEye3, which is my main channel where the VODs of these go up. You can also check out DarkEye3 clips, as I said before, which isn't linked down below on here, but it is available on my YouTube channel if you do wish to go check that channel out. What's that, sir? Salt, Nope, and Tea. Well, yeah, okay, you do have the emote. Okay, yeah, we do have actual emotes for Twitch as well. Actual Twitch emotes, but these are my emotes. They're my emotes. And the teacup is pretty cool. I am quite happy with the teacup, like I said earlier. But yeah, go check out the links down below. Go check out my YouTube channel. My Twitter is DarkEye3 as well. Surprisingly, I'm DarkEye3 on everything. Especially on YouTube now that I managed to get that. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Have a very good evening, morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you may be. And I will see you all again, hopefully tomorrow with a stream. If not, then in the next Tea Time with Dark. See you later, guys. Take it easy.